This is the second video of this two-part set. So I've waited for 3 minutes and I'm starting to notice something going on here. Do you see it? I'll try and move the camera a little closer. You see these water droplets have started to form. And that's because as this air that's been trapped inside of the glass with the hot water has warmed up, the water has evaporated a little bit, which means that the water has heated up and it's become a gas. It went from a liquid where the particles are kind of close together. Then as it warmed up, the particles spread out a little bit further and it was able to mix in with the air. So now I'm going to add some ice cubes to the top of this plate. And that's going to really cool our plate down. And watch what happens as best you can. When you do it in your own house, you'll be able to really see what's happening. You can start to see that there's some water droplets forming on the edge of this glass. And even if you were able to look underneath, like I am, to the plate, the bottom of the plate that's on the inside of the glass, it's starting to collect little water droplets as well. And that's because as this warm air that's full of water vapor is lifting up, it then meets this cold plate that's cold because of the ice. And so those particles are now shrinking back together because when particles get cold, they want to get close to each other and warm up. So those particles are getting closer together as they're becoming cooler, and they're forming little water droplets once again. And that's called condensation. So we have evaporation, which is the water heating up and rising and becoming water vapor. And then we have something called condensation, which is where the water vapor is getting cold again. And so the particles are shrinking back together and they're becoming liquid water once more. And when that happens all around our Earth, you see the sun is coming in and it's heating up all the water that's on our Earth. And that water starts to rise up from the heat and mix in with the air and become water vapor. It becomes a gas. The particles spread out more when they're hot. Then, as they lift up and up and up, eventually they start to get closer to outer space and they start to get cold. So they bundle up again and they form condensation and they form liquid water that then comes down, back down to the earth in the form of rain, or ice, or sleet, or snow. And when the water comes back down to the earth as those different forms, that's called precipitation. So you have 3 new words that you know now: condensation, evaporation, precipitation. Maybe you can draw what you imagined happening all over the world when I was explaining it. When I was explaining what happens to the water as it gets hot and then cools down and falls, whatever image you had in your head, you could draw that. You could also make your own booklet of the different terms that you've learned, and you can define those using your own words, your own definition. You can also do this experiment exactly the way I've done it, or you can do it this way and also try it with cool water and see if there's any difference. So instead of using hot water, you can use cooler water and see what happens. I can't wait to see what you find out.